What's going on, Team 6th and 7th grade? You guys have a sub today, so you know the drill by now. This packet is worth 5 points if you have everything from notes and warm-up written down from the board, exactly as it is placed there, and then you show some effort on the bronze. You get an easy 5 points in the grade book. If you have not attempted the warm-up, go ahead and pause the video now, and then press play once most of us are partially completed or most of the way through. Okay, so here's number 1 for you. If you don't have this work, raise your hand and request this. Pause the video to go over it. Your answer should be 1 1/5 b plus 6 over 5, or 1 1/5 b plus 1 1/5. Number 2 looks pretty intense, but if you break it down and know your addition and positive strategies, you'll see 2 giant plus signs that make a negative 30 plus 6 on the top, and then a negative 7 plus 1 on the bottom. And you can fight with the 30 and the 6. Bad guys will win this round. Bad guys win the bottom as well. And then 24 over 6 is the same as 24 divided by 6. Sam would say that same is good, different is bad, so the same makes it a positive 4. Number 3 is similar to yesterday. Mr. McAtee is back and really wants to beat Mr. Coaches with the lunch eating championships. Believe it or not, this is what all teachers do at lunch while you're out playing, minding your own business. So here's the deal. Mr. McAtee got a record 3 2/5 minutes. He just crushed it. And then Coaches takes 2 1/3 for the sandwich, 1 3/4. By now, you should have this process fairly routine. Let's make that a 12. And let's make this a 12. So 9 plus 4 is 13/12. Well, remember, when there's a improper fraction, the number on top is bigger, we're going to grow up, and this is like our village, and the fractions get to graduate. Yeah, one of them becomes an adult, because 13 over 12 has one whole, 12 over 12. Well, what fraction is remaining? 1/12 remains. Add the adults together, and you get 4 and 1/12. That's not the answer. We want to know who won, and so looking at this, Mr. McAtee was crowned the champion, but by how much did I win? This time, take Mr. Coaches. He took longer than Mr. McAtee. Oh boy. Okay, we can still do this one. 12 and 5 go into, man, it's gonna be 60, huh? 640, yeah, okay. We can, wait, yeah, let's do this one. This is multiplied by 5. And this is multiplied by 12. And that gives you 24 over 60. So take them away from each other and you can't do it. The 5 over 60 can't defeat 24. So we're going to borrow a 1. And this 1 is disguised as a kid. 60 over 60 will do the trick. 65 over 60 minus 24 over 60. That works. And you get 41 over 60. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I won just barely in 41 seconds, which is actually pretty solid. I probably could have eaten like a whole nother sandwich in that point. I won in 41/60ths of a minute. Or if you know there are 60 seconds in a minute, you can say 41 seconds. Okay, next page, please. Students will be able to use distributive property To create or to simplify expressions. All right, so today's lesson is really important because distributive property may be something new, it may not. It is a huge deal in 7th grade. And if you see a problem that looks like this, and the number is directly outside of parentheses, and the parentheses have a variable and a number, you may be tempted to try to combine x and 1, but you can't do it. This is two different terms. So in that case, this 2 needs to multiply by each term, the x and the 1. That is the distributive property. We're distributing the 2 to multiply the x and the 1. So let's check out example 1. The 10 is outside of parentheses. I can't combine the 3 and the x, different terms. So let's multiply. 10 times 3. And for the sake of your notes, I want you to write what's happening on the side. So this became a 30. 10 times negative x, or you might write negative 1x. That's just negative 10x. Okay. And then plus 10. From this problem, bring it down. Since it wasn't in parentheses, I didn't have to do 10 times 10. You only distribute what's in parentheses. This looks similar and maybe even easier to yesterday and Friday's lesson. I'm looking for similar terms or like terms. Well, 30 and 10, these are constants. These can combine. 30 and 10. Make sure we attend to precision. The sign is both positive, so they band. And the negative 10x can't combine with anything. Bring that guy down. You can write it like that or with expressions. You can also get full credit by putting the negative 10x here and the 40 here. These are the same thing. The signs are the same. This is really positive 40. That's negative 10x. So either one will give you a 5 out of 5 on the test. Example 2. This time I have the parentheses as the second term. The 5 is outside of it, and something funny happens to the 5. There's a minus sign. If there's a minus sign, this is like writing negative 5 times 1 minus 4v. So I'm going to take the negative and the 5 and distribute it. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Rewrite that below. Negative 5 times a negative 4v. Well, same good, different bad. They're the same. They're the negatives, and it's a good guy in the end. 20 is positive, and then v. Bring down what we didn't distribute. Negative 10v, and let's start combining. Let's go with, what do I combine first? The 5 and the 20. No, the 10v and the 20v. Yeah. So negative 10v and positive 20v are fighting. Who wins? Good guys are going to win this battle. 20 minus 10 is 10. Don't forget your variable, and the last step is just that constant. It's by itself, so you bring that guy down. You cannot combine a v with a 5. They are different terms. There's your answer. Last example. There we go. This one looks funny. There's a negative sign. There's not a number. What does that mean? If there's just a negative sign, it is the same thing as writing a negative 1. If it makes you feel a little better about what you're doing, you can always rewrite it as negative 1 if there's just a negative sign. And when that happens, we're going to just flip the sign inside here. Watch what happens. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4a. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Notice how this used to be 4a minus 1 is now negative 4a plus 1. Bring your negative 5a down and start combining. 4a is negative, 5a is negative. What does that make? Well, they're not even fighting. They're just banding together. They're bad guys. You get a negative 9a. The 1 gets brought down as a plus 1. That's as simple as you can make it. So hugely important. Hopefully, if it is new for us, we can just pick up on this skill so we're ready to crush it on Wednesday when we introduce something a bit more challenging. Pay attention to being precise. Always attend to precision. Do not go on to the next problem unless you check it with the notes or the answers in the back, and then you fix any blunders. This is part of your 5-point grade, so show me full efforts. You know what that is. I know what that is. And as always, guys, that's the way the cookie crumbles. You're on your own for bronze. Have fun.